Hey, hi everyone, Jay here, Jay Brave. Thank you for finding your way over to my channel. Thank you for being here with me, and let's thank the powers that be for another year, 2021, hey? So, it's the first bit of content I've actually made video-wise for quite a while, or at least for my YouTube channel anyway. I'm going to talk about 2020, what year it was for me, what year it was for the world, what year it was for everybody, briefly. But for now, I just kind of want to say hello, welcome to everybody, and I just want to let everybody know what the reason is for me making this video, what my intentions are for making videos in 2021 and sharing them here on YouTube. So, I don't know where people are watching, but for me here, my family here in the UK, here, first week of January, we're already back into another lockdown, and this time it is going to be the toughest of the lockdowns we've had, the tightest restrictions, and again as well, it's January now, the height of winter, so the days are going to be at their shortest, light is going to be at its least. And yeah, the lockdown is going to feel heavier than probably any of the ones we've had previously. But it's for those reasons that I feel it's as good a time as any to find new people, to make friends, to make content, to put your voice out there, because I'm sure that my wife and daughter who've just actually gone for a walk to the shop, and this is in essence my only quiet time, my daughter being 2 years old. I'm sure for those of you who have children, you can imagine those who've heard 2-year-olds in and around their vicinity will also understand what I mean. But yeah, it is a very challenging time. And so I think, everybody deserves a pat on their back for making it through, committing to whatever it is that you can commit to, and just trying to stick to it. For me, making these videos is going to be a way of being accountable. In essence, it's going to be a spoken newsletter. It's going to be me talking about things that I'm up to, things that I have done, conversations that I'm a part of, and hopefully what will come from this, whether or not people watch the videos, or whether or not it serves as a catharsis for me, a way for me to kind of get ideas out of my head, listen back, and in essence have a conversation with myself. I think either way it's going to be good, and I would recommend to anybody, if there are different methodologies that you can employ this year to help you with your personal accountability to yourself, whether or not that be taking notes, diarizing, journaling, whether or not that be making audio notes and audio files, making recordings for you to listen back to, committing to making a podcast with friends, making one by yourself, or even doing what I'm doing here, like making new video content, and then committing to making that video content, no matter how rough and ready it is, because believe me, I know that this is rough and ready at the moment. But the main thing is turning up, showing up for yourself. The quality will get better over time. Quality always gets better over time if you persist at something. But the main thing in the beginning, when you're trying to create a habit or trying to do something new, is sticking at it. It's that consistency. So this is video number 1 from me, and I'm going to use it now really to just kind of give a bit of a recap of 2020 for me, things I learned, things I did, things that I've taken away, and hopefully set myself up a little bit for 2021. And so if this is useful to you, or if this is something that you can find, that you could do yourself or could recommend to somebody else, please do. And please feel free to share this video if the feeling comes across you. So for me, 2020, it's funny, I've been thinking about 2020 and how I would begin rounding up the year. And I think for a lot of people, what comes to mind first would normally be their professional accomplishments, or some kind of worldly achievements that that they can, I sold X amount on this site, or I got this many followers. But I think for me, when I look back on 2020, I did have a number of those moments, and I will kind of touch on those too. But I think 3 things that stuck out for me from 2020 that I think are really going to define my 2021 and beyond. 2 of them are things that I did for me, literally very much for me. And one was the resolution of something that was, again, for me, but it's taking a long time to resolve, and it involved third parties. But it also speaks to my resilience and consistency, which I hope to bring forward. And again, as well, I would like to say to people, like, do never feel bad about giving yourself a compliment. If you need to remind yourself that you are resilient, that you are competent, that you are great, do it. I know we live in a society, especially here in the UK, where I am here making this video, where I'm from, where I was born, that we have this kind of stay calm and carry on approach to everything, and this kind of stiff upper lip, don't praise yourself, don't say anything too pompous, too loud, too this, too that. Everything is just like stay in your lane, stay in the middle. But that is not what the human spirit requires. The human spirit requires far more than that. It requires you to acknowledge yourself, to turn up for yourself. And so this is what I'm doing. So my roundup of last year, a year ago almost now, a year and 4 days ago actually, because it was on the 1st of January 2020, I decided to take up intermittent fasting. Now, to those of you who don't know what intermittent fasting is, it is making a conscious decision to only have a certain window in every single day in which you can eat, drink, or consume any calories, and the rest of that day is, in essence, a fast. Only sips of water, and maybe a herbal tea, and on occasion as well I've even had a coffee, but nothing else other than that in the rest of that time. Now that window for me is an 8-hour window starting at 11 a.m. ending at 7 p.m. And in that time I have to find space and time for breakfast, lunch, snacks, whatever it is, plus dinner, knowing that come 7 p.m. every evening, calorific window done, nil by mouth until 11 a.m. The next day. Now at the beginning of the journey it was difficult. And again, just to start peppering in some of the other things I did last year. In January last year, I went to the World Economic Forum in Davos, and it proved really challenging keeping up the intermittent fasting when I was in temperatures of minus 4 to 10 degrees, and also been vegan, in Switzerland, a country which borders France, Germany, and Italy. To find things that don't involve meat and dairy was pretty much a challenge. But I think by having such a stern challenge right near the beginning of my intermittent fasting journey, actually held me in good stead. And although I found it difficult there near the beginning, in the end I actually had a really good year, where aside from maybe 3 or 4 occasions where I made special dispensation for seeing friends, going out to dinner, and in essence not being a social pariah for the sake of maintaining my my calorific window, had a great year. And the benefits for me, especially from someone who's getting a little bit older now, have been amazing. I think it was a great thing for me for both mental, physical discipline, but it also ended up giving me more than that. I think it kind of also spoke to me emotionally and spiritually as well. I think what religious people would say, during Lent, during Ramadan, during other celebrations or ceremonies, religious ceremonies of scarcity or of kind of holding back, you find that these are great moments for self-reflection. So actually it turned out to be a really good thing. The other thing that I started doing last year as well, a lot later in the year, but still enough of the year to kind of rack up some good numbers, was started doing press-ups every single day, because after gyms closed during the lockdown, I recognized that if I could not commit to doing something physical and maintaining it, this sedentary life on the sofa, moving from one desk or chair in your house to another, was probably not going to serve me well. And so I kind of made a commitment that before the end of my fasting time would come every single day, I would have to have done 50 press-ups. Now that began in September, but by the time I ended the year, in December, I was doing 100 press-ups a day. Again, because as I said at the beginning of the video, everything that you practice at or you kind of maintain doing, you show up for yourself, ultimately you get better at it. And the numbers become easier, the time becomes shorter. And so, yeah, that was another thing. And the third thing that I did and I achieved last year, which kind of is a real big one for me, was the settling of a court case with my old landlord at my previous home where I lived as a single man before I met my wife and ended up having, our daughter home birth in our old house, and then moving on though now, and we're now in our new home. But yeah, I was in a long case with the landlord at my old property, but finally last year, representing myself in court, and it did go all the way to court, I did actually prevail, and in the end walked away, again, a lot of emotional scarring and bruising from the process, but ultimately I was whole financially, and so it felt really good to know that with agency and with determination you can represent yourself, you can show up for yourself, as I keep on saying, and you can prevail. So 3 amazing things that happened for me last year that I believe are going to hold me in good stead for 2021 and beyond. Got loads more to say, lots of things I want to talk about, but again, this is video number 1 I'm going to make. As I said, I'm going to commit to making at least 1 video per week, but I'm going to try and do more. But yeah, I think for now, this is as good a juncture as any to say thank you to myself first and foremost for saying I'm going to do this, committing to it, and putting my promises out there into the world, into the video for you who are watching, and for me watching back to be able to hold myself to. But yeah, I'd also just like to thank everybody who is part of my support network, because without everybody in my life, whether it is for good or bad, I wouldn't be the person I am today. So thank all of you, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video. If you've enjoyed the video and you enjoy listening to me rumbling on, please subscribe, please share, and look forward to seeing you again soon. Thanks everybody. Ciao for now.